Good evening, good day, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be watching this from right now on the show. Hi, everyone. My name is Christian the Crusader Shriver, or as many people know me from PTM Racing TV, the main announcer and the voice of PTM Racing TV, of course. Today, for my own personal channel, my own sake, I just wanted to try something a little different, something a little new. Kind of doing a little bit of a review thing or two with this YouTube business. So I've got a little bit of free time on my hands. There's things I have been wanting to do, and I know, granted, this is not the most professional looking start to any YouTuber or any video channel, but this is just something for me to do and kind of give you guys an idea of how I've been with my sim racing background, my career, and everything. So just something different, something new, and also something kind of creative to try out. But yeah, if you like what you see, then of course push that little like button and push that little comment down there and let me know what you guys think about this and all that. So without further ado, though, let's get to the first review I have in mind today. So today I have something that has been probably done to death and probably talked about so much from past years and past decades, but I have a device that I recently purchased about 3 or 4 months ago that has probably been the biggest game changer up until I had a few other things included with. And of course, I am talking about our friend, the Playseat Challenge. Now, I'm already probably going to get a lot of people already messaging and commenting, okay, why are we doing another review of the Playseat Challenge? You know, how many reviews are out there? Probably about 100, 200, something like that. And all of them are pretty much the same. Yes, it's a really good space box, everything. It's a great seat and all that. But I feel like there's something that we haven't really been seeing much of anymore, and that's discussion. Is it still worth what it's worth right now in 2021? Because right now, this Playseat Challenge, for what I got anyway, from Amazon, it was only about 220 bucks that I paid for it. And it came in perfect, nothing wrong with it. I had a little bit of confusion out of the gate trying to set it up. Thankfully, my good friend who actually got me into this ended up helping me out with that and getting that figured out. We'll talk more about that later. But in the review section, also just kind of history for me and what this represents. But I think overall what this Playseat Challenge is the game changer for many people out there who are just getting started, to intermediate drivers in iRacing, to also those that just are limited in space and time, and we'll get more into that as I go into the history of this. But yeah, the Playseat Challenge, this device is already, you can tell it looks kind of obviously looks like a folding chair, and when you see it in person in just a little bit, I'll show you, it does pretty much feel and look like a folding chair. But there is one big thing that I will say when we get to that, is that this chair is probably the best chair still for the price and how long it can last and what it can do for, in my opinion. And I again will cover more of that in just a brief minute. But yeah, man, this is going to be the Playseat Challenge review in 2021. Is it still worth it? Well, let's find out. So here we go, guys. This is the Playseat Challenge in its full form. Now, I'm going to have to tell you right now, I'm going to have to move around a little bit with this device, because this is going to be probably a lot of people are looking at it thinking, wait a minute, how is this working? How's that working? I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. What you see is not as complicated as it looks. And yes, I do have the Gamer 2 butt kicker attached to that. Trust me, I will get more into that in an in-depth review if you guys want to see that. So please let me know. And of course, my V3 pedals I will definitely talk about. And the G29. I have a little bit of a video on that. You'll probably find it interesting, or you might hate me for it. We'll find out more about that. But that's not the point right now. We're talking about the Playseat Challenge and what it represents and what it provides itself on. So the Playseat Challenge, again, I showed you earlier, design-wise, very sturdy, very stable. Obviously, yes, it looks like a folding chair still, with just a piece, a couple bars attached to it, and pretty much kind of holding it in place. But to be honest, if you look at the fabric here and how strong this fabric is, I'm pushing in pretty good, and there's a lot of fabric in there that's holding this thing together. And for a guy like me, I'm 6'1", 195, almost 200 pounds sometimes. This thing is absolutely perfect for me. It holds up well. My head doesn't hurt or hit with it. It's about as stable as it gets, and really, it's designed extremely well and extremely perfect, in my opinion, for what it's worth. So with that in mind, what are the pros and what are the cons to this? Well, let's shoot it on over to that now, shall we? So one of the biggest advantages that the Playseat Challenge has as a pros we start off with is this device is extremely well-rounded in what it needs to be for obviously sim racers as well as gamers in general. So this isn't really just something you can purchase and think you're not going to get the most out of it. Matter of fact, this is probably one of the better products you'll get out there for the price, again, only being 220 US, 220 euros, I think, like that. So you're probably wondering, how do you get in and out of it and all that, if you've never seen a Playseat Challenge. Pretty simple, really. There's this little bar right here you simply just lift up on, that is attached to this little holder also there, and then you just hop right in like that. Hop in like that, you're in the seat. These little Velcro straps attach in, and these are how you adjust the seat as well, by the way. So if you ever wanted to adjust it back further so you're more relaxed, you're more forward, kind of a racer, all you simply do is just move these back, and then this will seat back as well. And then basically to get ready to race, just simply push that in. There's a little slot here you got to push forward just a little bit, make sure it gets in. There's this little lock here I'll show you in a second. And there you go. That's how a Playseat Challenge works. So, as you can see, I'm all hooked up on this end. And for those at home that are wondering, what does it feel like with this? There is a slight flex to it. It's not much. You can see it. And it goes for all wheels too. It's not just this one. It would go for the CSL base LED that I'm going to get as well. Put onto this to trade the G29 in for iRacing. I'll talk about more of that in its own video. But this mounting plate, there's a little spot right here you see where you have to unscrew in, and it allows you to move up, back, and forward in any way, shape, or form. There's plenty of videos on that part to show you, but that's just, I leave mine alone because honestly I like it tightened and just left the way it is. I personally prefer that. So that's how that works. And really the other biggest pro to me is actually just down here. As I mentioned a minute ago about being down there, of course I meant the pedal plates. The pedal plates here, as you can see, all it really is just a strap that's attached right inside here to here. And usually with this device you only need one strap, but because I'm using a V3 set pedals, I've actually caught the corner ends of these bottoms here, and basically that way they'll stay in place and they won't move. And for those at home that are wondering, I have pretty strong resistance down on these things, and honestly I can never get these things to move. So if you're wondering at home how they feel, V3 pedals on a Playseat Challenge work extremely well. But the way you get them on for like a normal Logitech G29 pedal set, or 920 or 923, is you would attach the strap generally around this part here, and that's where you would actually stabilize them down and keep them stable. So, another thing I mentioned earlier about the Playseat Challenge is a mounting spot. So the way I mounted mine is you can see this little screw back here and over here actually. That is where I hooked the G29 to the mount. That'll be exactly how I do it for the CSL Elite base direct drive as well when I get that. And then again, this right here, you just simply counterclockwise to unlock, clockwise to tighten, and basically it allows you to move the device left up and down, so you get a nice comfortable feel depending on your driving style. And as mentioned before, there is a little spot here where I basically attached it in to this device right here with a latch. You gotta pull forward on it a little bit. I can't quite do this with one hand. There we go. So you pull forward on that, and then it just simply locks in like that, and there you go. You're pretty much all set and stabilized in. Now the biggest thing again to this is space. This is honestly a small room. I don't know if you can tell by how small my little room is, but this is not a big room at all, especially with what I've got going on back there with all my devices and stuff hooked up. And this Playseat Challenge is extremely good on how it's set up and how it's done for what I have. And again, I got about a redneck kind of style to how I do this in my end, so yeah. So I've talked a lot about the pros, and I haven't really got to the cons yet, but there's still a few more pros I've kind of left out in this whole video. One big thing that I did not show you guys, if you may have looked down earlier when I was showing you the with the pedals, is that there is retractable there's retractable pulls in between where you can actually pull forward, pull out, or depending on how you want to do your set and feel. So for a guy like me, 6'1", I need some space in my feet, and this device perfectly does that compared to what my old rig used to do, which is basically I had to work off of my computer chair and push it back further, and I'd have to make sure my flex on my other thing was working. But no, this thing, man, like I said, it is top notch. It is done well. And again, to fold it up, for those at home that want to do that, basically all you do is just pull the pedals back and then pull this forward, and then this retracts in perfectly, and the bars down there will retract. So that is mainly the pros and all that. But again, I am not sponsored by Playseat, although you guys can hit me up if you want. Just kidding. Biggest thing for me, cons wise though, there's two major issues I have with this device. The first one is long term for anything above a CSL Elite direct drive slash steering wheel original set from Fanatec. Anything past that, I think, is maybe a bit overkill for this baseline that we have here for the metal plate. Because again, there is a little bit of flex there, and again, you don't notice the flex, honestly. I've raced this thing probably hundreds of times, even though the G29, I have a little bit of a rocky relationship with iRacing. The console stuff, honestly, I remember playing that. I was extremely fun and enjoyable, and it worked perfectly there. But that's another story I'll get into later. The big thing, though, like I said, is the amount of power and flex you have there. It may be best to just stick with, if you're not wanting to do any modifications or anything like that. The highest I would go with this thing is a CSL Elite base direct drive or a CSL steering wheel. That's honestly as far as I would go for upgrade wise. It's not going to really give you anything big direct drive that's over 8 Newton meters. I don't know how this thing will handle with 8 Newton meters of that extra power. I would say the 5 Newton meters is perfect and fine. Whereas again, like you'll hear this thing rock and rolling, but in sim, you never hear this thing flexing or giving you issues. It's just basically hold on your wheel and just race. So that is kind of a con, though, is the upgradable part of it. Although, again, there are plenty of mods out there and ways you can fix that and then stick a direct drive on this thing. But again, I'm talking like without modification or anything like that. So that's kind of a con, kind of not. The biggest con, though, in my opinion, right away is what's right below me, which is basically the fact that I had to buy an extra device to help kind of get this thing to work for shifting. So the G29 shifter, which I have my own thoughts and quirks about right now, I had to buy the adapter for it, which actually was third party. There is no Playseat challenge on its own shifter mount. So that is one big thing I think Playseat in general missed on the challenge, was they did not get a mount in there. But other than that, I would say there's plenty of third parties out there you can find a good mount for and all that. I've got mine, it worked fine, although admittedly I've wore it out and I probably have it on wrong. So I gotta fix that if I want it still, but also I'm thinking about just doing like some kind of upgrade for it when I get the CSL Elite base direct drive, because at that point this thing's useless. So, but yeah, that's kind of the cons though of it. Is just the overall pros though, they weigh them out so much. Like that's the major cons I think. Comfort wise and compatibility wise, like I said, this thing is an ecosystem you can use it on. It's not just the Fanatec V3 pedals or the G29 steering wheel or anything like that. You can stick Thrustmaster equipment on there, T150 Pro, T150, the 300 RS GT, as well as the T500. So anything in that ecosystem, it'll fit on this. It works fine. Fanatec, like I said, if you're going that route, your baseline's about the CSL Elite base direct drive, at least in 2021. The steering wheel will work perfectly fine on this. There's videos out there to how to do it. Basically all you would have to do is just get this mounting plate switched around, move forward. That way it has a more stable end to connect to. Although with that CSL Elite direct drive base I'm going to get, and I'll do a review when I got it,
is it has movable plates you can move in, so that might be my best option to do that. And then of course I'll get a steering wheel for it. But yeah, guys, overall, like I said, this thing, I've had many hours with it. I've had many times great moments with it. This thing is bulletproof as far as I'm concerned. There's folks out there I know that have had this thing for like 6 or 8 years, and for the fact that it only cost me $220 on Amazon, American wise, this thing is just perfect. I've had no troubles with it. It's a great seat. Um, Honestly, like I said, the only thing I'm just kind of disappointed on is that there is a little flex that, again, when I first got it, it kind of annoyed me. And when I have the CSL Elite base direct drive, I know I should probably upgrade, but I'm gonna stick with what I got and get used to it. But like I said, that flex thing, it's just an annoyance thing. It's not gonna affect your racing or anything like that. And in all honesty, I think with this chair, it actually is maybe a better driver because I'm more consistent, I'm more under control, and it really does make me feel like I am in the actual sim. And I think there's also one little part back there you might have seen with that butt kicker that makes it feel more better like that, and I'll tell you more about that in its own video. But yeah, guys, that's really about it. I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoy this review and all that, please feel free to like and comment here and let me know your guys' thoughts. And let me know, in 2021, do you have a Playseat challenge, or are you planning to buy a Playseat challenge? Let me know, because there is plenty of videos out there that show you how to set these things up and how to do it. I never even did an unboxing for it. It was already unboxed and done, ready to go, and I'm not unplugging this thing and dealing with all that stuff because I never fold it. I personally like it the way it is. So that's just my thoughts. That's my feelings on it, guys. And again, everything unboxing wise, you can find that on the internet. This is just a video to show in 2021 my thoughts, my feelings on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And again, until next time, I will have a V3 review, and I will also have the butt kicker review. And I'll probably do a review on this little guy right here and those pedals, and I'll give my honest thoughts on that in its own video. But for now, guys, that's it. I'm going to, for real this time, call this one quits. So thank you again. Have a good day.